We are live. Let's get ready to podcast.
Fire it up.
Welcome back to another live and amplified Indie Fusion podcast. I'm your host, Tom Clark, and we're back at it again with another basic podcast. Today, we have a very special guest. We have Cory Wooldridge. How's it going today, man?
Hey, good. How are you, bud?
I'm hanging in there, man. It's Monday. It's been a Monday, but we won't go into that story again.
Yeah.
But it's actually nice in Texas right now, so I'm enjoying it.
It is. It was like all of a sudden the grass is kind of green overnight, and it's time to mow again, and
Right.
birds are chirping, and everything is good. So I'm loving it, man.
Oh yeah. And it was we've got some like tornadoes and whatnot that are supposed to be coming through the end of the week, but that's Texas. That's Texas weather for you.
Yeah. And
So.
I grew up in Oklahoma, so that's where I was born in Enid. So we kind of got used to that
Right.
pretty quick growing up.
Oh, I'm sure. I can only imagine. So, so you're up north of Dallas, Fort Worth. How long have you been there?
We've been here probably about 3 years now.
Okay.
Moved from Colorado, moved here to Texas, and whether I was rodeoing or playing music, kind of that's where you wanted to be. Kind of towards the end of my rodeo deal, I was kind of like, man, that music is what I really want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so this was where I wanted to be, and a lot bigger scene, a lot more opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of loaded what we had into a little Chrysler 300, and I had a old Dodge minivan with like 300,000 miles on it, no AC, passenger window didn't roll down.
Right.
We loaded up and come down here, and it was hard at the beginning. You just got to keep grinding. Things are starting to go pretty good though the last couple of years, so I can't complain at all.
Nice. Yeah. When I saw you were doing the rodeo thing, my ears started to perk up a little bit, and like my eyes started gluing because I started getting into that once I moved to Texas. That feels like a very Texas thing of me to do, and so it's that's really cool. How'd you get, like, before we jump into your music and all that stuff? How'd you get involved in rodeo?
So growing up, it was always there. Like it was either 8 Seconds or Pure Country. Like that's pretty much the only two movies that I really cared about. Like my dad rode bulls. He fought bulls later on. My mom, when she was younger, she ran barrels. So it's pretty much that's all us kids want to do is just get on something.
Mm-hmm.
And so they take us to these little junior rodeos, and we started getting on. And it's like you just never want to do anything else. We had an old minivan. They'd put a tent in there, some coolers, and we'd go around all of Oklahoma, go to all these rodeos. But you have a lot of time to listen to music.
Yeah.
There was not a Chris LeDoux cassette that we didn't have, that we didn't run the heck out. Like Dad would hand it to us and stick your finger in there and start winding up the old cassette when it gets ate up type of stuff, But yeah, Chris LeDoux always had a song to get us through anything. And to see him like riding bareback horses and still putting out those kind of music that he was writing, like going down the road,
Mm-hmm.
we just always listened to it. And so, but going back, listen to George Strait, watching Pure Country. So man, I think one day I want to play guitar and do that kind of stuff too. So you kind of go back and forth, and I'd play a little bit, go rodeo, come back home, pick up the guitar, and something told me like, when I'm done rodeoing, this is what I want to do. So if I was still rodeoing, I would still probably want to be here.
Yeah.
Like with either thing I want to do, I had to be here. So it worked out great. And I love to get in the rodeo crowd. It's still, I get to see them through music.
Mm-hmm.
You can still run into all the rodeo buddies through music and stuff. So it's been awesome, and it doesn't hurt as well.
I'd imagine. Oh, so while you were rodeoing, you were just kind of playing music, not really trying to pursue it professionally. And then when you left, that's kind of when the switch happened, or how does that kind of play out?
Yeah, so I was actually I did leather work for a long time too. Made belts, wallets, all that kind of stuff. And so I'd rodeo and come home, do some leather work, but that guitar was always sitting there. And there'd be like 2 years, when you're like 15, 16, you're serious about it. Then you kind of put it aside, then you pick it up again, and then you put it aside. And I was kind of like, man, it's either the leather work or the music. They're both kind of wanting my time.
Yeah.
If I could afford it, I'd do the music for free. So when I started thinking about that, I said, okay, I'm going to sell all my leather stuff. I have a bunch of songs I'd kind of been writing, like thinking about going down the road and stuff. I said, okay, I'm just going to keep writing music. When I get to Texas, I'm going to try to go to the studio and try to start some of that stuff out. And got a hold of a guy in Fort Worth, Randy Gray's an amazing musician, and he's been awesome to me. And so started going to his studio, and then little things start happening, and pretty soon you start getting the old TikTok and Facebook page, and things start working. So it was hard though at the beginning, to come home to an iPad and a piece of paper and just start like messaging anybody that would kind of let you come play, just try to get your
Mm-hmm.
name out there. And then pretty soon it starts to where they're messaging you, you start getting a little bit better gigs. So yeah, just sticking to the grind and doing what needs to be done has really paid off, I think.
Right. And I think that's a lot of times most musicians that aren't getting where they want to go fast, they're ignoring what you just said. They're not willing to, they're just kind of waiting for the shows to come to them. They'll go play like the occasional open mic or whatever it is,
Right, right.
but they don't have the tenacity to go out and be like, "Hey, this is what I do. I'll go play at the local barbecue spot at lunch and just play because I want to play."
Right, right, right.
And I think that tenacity right there is what separates good musicians from musicians, if that makes
Oh yeah.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think too, for me, having the rodeo background of like you gotta grind, you gotta go
Hmm.
at it. Like don't try to be something that you ain't. Like put in the effort
Hmm.
when nobody's watching.
Yeah.
But the answer is always going to be no if you don't jump out there and ask, and take that chance. And being professional and trying to hold yourself accountable is very important. But having the rodeo background of like patience, because like I rode saddle bronc horses, so
Mm.
you go to get on those horses, they can sense your fear, and you have to be very patient with them and everything. But I think having that grind is what kind of transitioned into this too. So
Yeah.
it's funny how everything kind of works out.
Right. 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 You know, it's it it's perseverance at the end of the day. Like you
Oh
figured out
yeah,
a way to make it all work. So you said you've been in Texas now for about 3 years, right?
yeah, probably about 3.5. Yeah.
3.5. Was it the goal always to kind of get back towards Texas, or was there a point where you're like, hey, music, Nashville, or something like that?
No, so actually, even when I was rodeoing, I kind of was like, man, I want to go to Texas. Like
Mm-hmm.
Colorado is pretty expensive. The music scene up there is, to be honest, there's not a whole lot of it like there is down here. It's harder
Mm-hmm.
down here. So there's more people. But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, I look at it as glass half full kind of guy. There's more opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of was like, okay, I'm rodeoing, living in one of my friends' bedroom of their house, like that I was renting. My stuff was in a storage unit. When I get some stuff like paid off and kind of caught up, I'm going to Texas. Good thing it didn't happen when I wanted it to happen, because then I ended up meeting a girl up there, and she ended up coming with me, and um, that's funny how all that stuff kind of works out.
Right.
But yeah, to come down here when I started getting more serious about the music was pretty
Mm-hmm.
much like, okay, I mean that's where I got to go. If I don't end up there, not to sound rude or anything, but like the only thing I'd want to go to Nashville for is if I went to a studio out in the middle of the country and recorded
Mm-hmm.
and came back. Like I just really don't have no. ambition, I guess, to go walk the streets or anything
Well,
like that. Like,
and it's one of those things where it's like Nashville as a city is cool. Like there's a lot of really cool things going on there, and a lot of the musicians are just busting their ass doing what they got to do.
right,
But if you're going there with the hope and a prayer of making it big, the energy you're gonna have to put in Nashville, you're gonna have to put in anywhere.
oh yeah,
So
yeah, for sure.
why relocate just because it's Nashville? Like
Yeah, 100%.
the only thing that Nashville really has going for it is that you could be there's the offshoot 2% chance that you could be playing at some bar and Blake Shelton comes walking in or something like that. And
Yeah,
like that's the only offshoot. And then even if you get that chance, you got to be good enough for them to be like, "Hey, they got something special. I want to talk to them."
right,
So,
right. And I think for me, I'm the type of guy like nobody's really helped me through this thing.
mhm.
Like I've had some great friends that I've looked up to and that kind of stuff. But as far as anybody's like, oh, hey, you need some merch? Like here's 5 grand, you know what I mean? Like I've done all this stuff out of pocket and I take a lot of pride in that. And I want to do it my way. I'm gonna sing what I want to sing. I'm gonna stick to my guns. And I guess if you don't like it, you'll go to somebody else's show type of thing, you know?
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I just don't want no one telling me what I should do and what I should wear
Love
type
it.
of thing.
I
So
love it. I love it so much. That's the mentality I've been taking on. Like that's always kind of been the mentality of Live and Amplified, but over the last like 3 months or so, it's just kind of been like, okay, now we're really gonna live by that mentality. So,
but heck yeah,
I
that's
love
the best way to do it.
right, right, right. So you got a new song dropping on next you said next Friday. Yeah.
Yeah, the 11th.
So what's the story about this song? What can you tell us?
Yeah, the song's called Fort Worth Rain, and it's kind of been in the works for a while. Did like a scratch track of it. Um, Producer had some things going on, so we kind of put it on the back burner for a little bit. I went and played some gigs, and we kind of got back into it. And then like, man, let's redo the vocals on that. Let's change like a couple words. And I think it really paid off to like kind of hold on to it for a little bit. Yeah, I was driving home from work one day. I-35 is pouring down rain. Man, like tears were falling down like Fort Worth rain. And I was like, holy smokes, like there's a song, everything's a song to me. Like there's always a song somewhere.
Yeah.
And so I said, that's like kind of if you're gone rodeo. And what if that lady's sitting at home and looking out the window, the rain's pouring down. She's kind of crying, you're gone. So I got home, I think I wrote that song in like maybe 40 minutes. And I just sat there and held on to it till the right time. So we got done recording the last song, and producer's like, "What do you want to start on next?" I said, "I got another one called Fort Worth Rain." I said, "I don't want to do too many rodeo songs back to back, but this one I feel like I really needed to get out there." And so it's turned out awesome, and I'm so excited for it. I think it's gonna do really good for us.
Nice, nice, nice. Now, is it that building towards like an eventual album, or are you kind of staying singles right now? Where's kind of your thought there?
So that's the whole thing. I think eventually, probably by the end of the year, I would love to put out like a 5 song EP.
Okay.
And so it would be not the songs I put out so far. Those would stay singles, but we jump into like 5 other ones that I've got written that some of them are 4 years old, some of them are 6 months old. It's just kind of staggering the songs and how you think you want to, but you don't want to like rabbit hole yourself, I guess, into kind of one genre
Hmm.
or one type of sound. But for me, rodeo and cowboy stuff, it's if it's all you've ever known, it's really hard not to write about that kind of stuff. But I got a couple like red dirt type of sounding songs, like kind of rock and roll stuff that I'm like, man, I don't know if I mean I love the song, but I don't know if it would be something that I would put out. Kind of the more I sing it, like yeah, I need to put that out. So hopefully by the end of the year, I'm gonna put out like 5 songs.
Nice.
Music is funny. Like right now, singles are what's going.
Yeah.
And that's so crazy because I remember being little and you'd go to Hastings or Walmart, and I just wanted to go to the back, go to the CDs, and you flip through
Yeah.
them. And you bought that CD and you listen to all 10 or 12 songs
Yeah.
all the way through. And now the price of their thing, like what it costs you to go to the studio, you don't really want to spend that much money
Hmm.
and do something. And what if somebody just skips over that third song on that album or that EP? And it's kind of like, dang it, you feel like you might have wasted wasted it.
Hmm.
And so, like, some of my favorite songs are deep cuts.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, man, you know what I mean? Like, gosh dang, like that's crazy to think about. So I'm trying to figure out which ones I want to put out like in the right order. So hopefully by the end of the year we'll do something like that. But I feel like
Nice.
things are just going to keep growing. So
Right. I well, to kind of grow off of what you were just mentioning about the industry kind of having its focus on singles, I've kind of been of the mindset that the industry has always been singles driven. It's just the availability to the end consumer has
oh
changed.
yeah,
Where it's like even back in the 40s and 50s when they were pressing vinyl or trying to get stuff out to radio, they weren't wanting your album. They okay, what's the single? Like they want the single, not the album. And so I think the industry, as the industry's kind of evolved and changed, going from more radio push to more of a digital streaming aspect, it's like it's still always kind of been singles, but because music is such an attention seeking situation or art form or whatever, or a business or an industry, the singles you can get out more frequently
right,
than waiting 2 or 3 years for the next album. Unless you're like
yeah,
Beyonce or whoever, that if they want to put out an album every week, they probably could.
yeah. I was actually watching a podcast with William Clark Green,
Hmm.
and he was saying like, man, I basically had to feel like I have to relearn the industry.
Yeah.
He's like, because back in the day, you spend 2 years on an album, and that was normal. But now Nashville, if you're one of them guys, is like you barely have enough time to learn as a band
Yeah.
the songs, and then you go play them. They're like, okay, next album.
Hmm.
You barely got those 12 songs learned for your tour. Now you got to go in and start learning a whole nother set,
Right.
and like that's wild to me. But I think the single deal, like social media,
Hmm.
so it's easier to hashtag a single name, right,
Mm.
than it is like an album.
Yep.
It's like you can put out a song and hashtag this song and make clips of it, make reels of it. But for a full album, it's hard. So this
Yeah.
in social media wise, like the single is easier to get out social media, I guess.
Hmm. Yeah. 100%. I 100% agree with you. And it's one of those things where it it's easier to put out singles because like the frequency you can get them out. If you wait 2 or 3 years to put out an album, 500 people have passed you by and taken your
Right.
spot because not only is the industry more saturated now, but that talent is saturated because there's so much really, really good talent or perceived talent. That's where I'm going to leave that one at. But,
Right.
it just kind of like people that can move records, move ticket sales. If you're a really good musician, but you're not releasing music as quickly as everybody wants you to, especially if you're a young new musician, you're going to get left in the dust and you'll be a one track wonder because
Oh
you
yeah.
waited too long. So,
Yep.
um, but all that to say, like, I still think there's a world for albums. It's just you kind of need to figure out the best way to incorporate that. So,
Oh yeah. Yeah, 100%. Find the right songs, the ones that fit you. You don't want to pigeonhole yourself. You want to stay true to that following. I guess
mhm.
I always said I'd rather play to like 30 people that are listening to what I'm saying and they're having a blast than 3,000 people that are just there like, yeah, I'm not really paying attention. Like that's just my mindset, I guess.
Right.
When people are having fun and they're into it, you can't beat that. Like no
Mhm.
matter how many people it is. So
100%. 100%. So, how often are you playing shows right now? Are you playing pretty consistently or?
So right now, every weekend starting in April, actually,
Hmm.
we're booked up. So April's all booked up. Got some stuff. A couple in June, July, and then August is starting to fill up. We get to go to the new casino in Shreveport, Louisiana,
Nice.
um, August 22nd through the 23rd. So
Hmm.
we're looking forward to that. That one will be a good time. Big casino, and should be a lot of fun. I'm
Nice.
not afraid to play a little blackjack, so it'll be all right.
I love it. That's sick. And you're pretty much playing like in the area, like Texas, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Louisiana for the most part, or?
Shoot, yeah, Arkansas, um,
Oh yeah, I forget Arkansas is right there as well.
yeah, Arkansas, uh, Colorado, Wyoming. So when I was 17, we moved to Colorado,
Hmm.
and so my younger brother and his wife, they live in Wyoming, and so my mom lives in Colorado. So like, it's kind of nice to have that. Like a lot of my rodeo buddies that I grew up with still live up there,
Yeah,
so I can play here. I can go up there and play a couple shows,
yeah,
make connections, and see family at the same time. So it's nice. I don't mind getting up there, especially in the heat of the Texas summer.
right, right,
I will
right.
say I played in Alvin, Wyoming, and it was like the end of July. Played outside, and
Hmm.
it was cold.
Oh
It
yeah,
was cold, and I said I'll never complain about the 107-degree heat
right,
in Weatherford, Texas. I guess.
right. We went few or about 5, 6 years ago. We went up to North Montana. Like we're talking like 30 minutes from the border, North Montana, and it was like July 7th. You would think in your head, dead heat of summer. It's warm. You don't got to worry about nothing. And we were doing a bunch of recording with like some heavy metal bands that were based out of Montana. We were doing like live recording sessions, right? And we didn't wrap up till like 1 in the morning, and we were going to get on the road and head to where we were going to next. And they're like, "Hey, you guys got like coats and stuff in the car, right? Because it's cold outside." And I'm like, "No, man, it's July. Who brings coats on a road trip in July?" He's like,
Right?
"All right, I'm gonna just tell you it's like 36 degrees outside." And I'm like, "Well, that whole
Yeah, yeah.
thing." You walk outside and my windows are frosted over, and I'm like, "Where in the world are we right now?
Oh
Like this
yeah.
makes no sense to me." So,
Yeah, it's a whole different deal. Like I don't mind the drive, and it's funny. Some of my friends like, you're gonna go in the morning, you're gonna drive all the way to Colorado. Like that's
mhm,
wild. It's not far, you know what I mean?
no,
And it's actually a nice drive, and
but,
I'm a big fan of the all subs burritos. And so when you
mhm.
make the drive from here to there, there's a lot of them you get to pass. So I don't
Oh
mind
yeah.
it at all.
So I make about once every other month. I go out to Roswell, New Mexico.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And so not I'm sure not as pretty of a drive as going from North Texas to
yeah.
Colorado.
Colorado.
I got to drive through this landscape called West Texas.
Oh, hmm.
But yeah, so yeah, but yeah, the all sub stops are what keep it fun. So
So it keeps you going through the night sometimes. All subs burritos and a cup of coffee, and
yeah.
you're good to go.
Except I have to like special. They never have the all subs burritos that I want ready because they have like a steak and cheese one that I really enjoy. So
Oh,
unless you
okay.
get like really lucky, they don't usually have them ready because nobody, I don't know, I guess nobody orders them or whatever. But so you have to like special order them, and if they have them, they'll throw it in the fryer or however it is they make it. But it adds like 20 minutes to the trip. So 9 times out of 10, it's like, yeah, I don't need it that bad. So
Right. If they need to put the app, you can just order ahead
right.
before you get there. That'd be nice. I never even heard of that burrito, but next time when I'm playing in Springtown next Saturday,
Hmm.
and there's one in Decatur, so I might have to swing by there and see if they
So,
got any.
right, right, right. Um, so yeah, no, I love driving, making that drive, like the 7 hour drive out to New Mexico. I'm sure it's probably similar to where you go in Colorado.
Yeah, so to get into college, it's probably about 10.
Okay.
It's about 10
Oh yeah,
hours. So
you're going pretty far north. or further north?
Yeah. Because where my brother lives, they're not too far from Cheyenne, Wyoming. Like
Okay.
at all, like how Sanger has to go to Denton,
Yeah.
like you go to Walmart and stuff, is Pine Bluff, Wyoming to Cheyenne. Um, so it's about like 12 or 13 hours to
Okay.
their house in the middle of nowhere, Wyoming. So
Fair.
it's not bad though. It's a nice getaway sometimes. But
Right. 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 And that hour, at least the trip up, losing that hour helps a little bit sometimes. So.
oh yeah, yeah, for sure. And like you make connections with like places along the way.
Hmm.
So like there's a place in Lyman, Colorado. Go play there. They pay for your hotel.
Yep.
So I get food, get to play, get a place to sleep, then get up in the morning and truck it on to the next
The
town.
next
So
one.
it's really cool to make the like handshake kind of connections with those venues. You know, if you treat them right, they'll treat you right and never lose that respect because you don't know when you're going to cross that bridge
Right.
again. You know what I mean?
Right. When I get it. I get it. So how long have you been off the rodeo? Is that you've been off that for a while or?
Oh yeah, shoot, probably I would say maybe 7 years, 7, 8 years,
Okay.
right? Yeah,
Nice.
it was weird. Like you never think about quitting, you know.
Hmm.
You never think about like hanging it up. And went to Ponca City, Oklahoma,
Hmm.
which is not too far from where I went to high school and where I grew up. So me and my brother, we go to like Garden City, Kansas, and go to Ponca City,
Hmm.
and all my high school friends are there, aunts, uncles, cousins, everybody, and I come out there and just get knocked out hardcore. I'm like, man, that was not too fun.
Right.
And I was never the type of guy to like, when you're done, but never like do it just to get on. When it stops
Yeah.
becoming fun, you know, I think I was trying so hard not to lose that I forgot how to try to win, you know.
Yeah.
And when you're rodeoing, like you get home and you get the PSN, the Pro Rodeo Sports News, and you flip to
Yeah.
the back and start entering rodeos. I got home, there was one in the mailbox, and I grabbed it and went inside, and that was the first time that I ever went to the back and started looking for rodeos to enter. So I literally just folded it and set it on my nightstand. I said, if it tomorrow I want to look at it, I'll look at it. A few days went by, nothing. Pretty soon I find myself playing guitar more and more and start to write. And it's like that kind of went away, but the music took its spot. I mean, like
Hmm.
Simon, the same time it just came, and I was like, man, thank gosh, because I don't know if I could ever get on one and
Hmm.
say like this is my last time
Yeah.
ever. You know, like and still today I think about like, gosh dang, I want to get on another one just one more
Just,
time. And that it wouldn't surprise me if I do, you know, just get a wild
just,
hair up my butt and go
yeah.
want to get on another one. But then you see some people, some of these kids get yard darted at a college rodeo or something. You're like, yeah, you know what?
Right.
I'll take my guaranteed paycheck playing music, and it don't
Right.
hurt as bad. So it's a lot better deal.
Yeah. I was watching this video this over the weekend, and they were doing they're riding bulls, and it was like a local like county rodeo, like at a county fair or whatever.
Mhm.
And they brought in, they asked these kids to bring in their bulls because they had a family that had a line of bulls out in Ohio, and one of their bulls kicked the bullfighter in the, or not, the rodeo clown or whatever they're technically called nowadays.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, in the face, and he got injured pretty good. And I'm like, that is exactly why I will never do that, because I don't know if I
right.
could come back from getting kicked in the face. So.
It's a different breed. Yeah, for real. Some of them guys, and going back to the music, like I think that literally has helped me in some ways of that like
Mhm.
no quit kind of I'm gonna get this done. I'm gonna get it figured out
Mhm.
type of background because you can't just sit there and wait for somebody to come help you or
Right.
swaddle you type of thing. So I think having that kind of background in looking up to Chris LeDoux, like man, when you have that much energy, like for me, music is the only thing that I can compare to
Hmm.
that's ever given me anything, I guess, like riding Broncs had.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that I feel or that I wanted, you know. So I think that they're both the same. But yeah, the work ethic and the grit, it's
Yeah.
both the same and kind of the same lifestyle. Like you're gone a lot,
Yep.
you're always traveling. That's the cool thing. You still get to travel, but this you get a paycheck every time. So
Yeah. You don't have to worry about a hospital bill. That's a
for
difference.
real, I haven't broke a single bone since I hung it up and started playing guitar. So I think
Knock on wood.
there's
Knock
something to
on wood,
that.
right?
For real, yeah.
Oh, no, that's cool. So who are you listening to besides Chris LeDoux? Who are you listening to right now that's really got your ear?
Oh man, a lot of guys. Chancey Williams out of Wyoming,
Hmm.
Wyoming guy. Used to ride saddlebronc horses. I like a lot of his stuff. There was a band called Dolly Shine.
Hmm.
So Zach McGinn, the lead singer, he started putting out some stuff. Very good music. Um, man, a buddy of mine in Colorado, Lyndon James, he's put out a couple of songs that are really really good.
Hmm.
Um, I like a lot of Turnpike Troubadours,
Yeah.
and obviously come from Oklahoma. I got to go with Ragweed and the Great
Yep.
Divide. Like you can never get enough of them. And it's funny because we lived in Perkins, Oklahoma for a while growing up,
Hmm.
and you'd see them playing in their garage.
Right.
And so now to see them doing next weekend the deal in Stillwater and selling it
Hmm.
out, like, it's really really cool. Like the video for 17, that was filmed like at the little gas station there in
Hmm.
Perkins, and so like that's where we would have to go to get bread and everything. And so yeah, it's really cool. I like a lot of different styles like that, but I also like a lot of Seeger,
Hmm.
Elvis Presley, like
Yes.
Georgia Satellites, that kind of stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I mean George Strait, I like a lot of George too.
Right. 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 I love those the hometown stories about seeing musicians as they're on their way up. And just,
Oh yeah,
you know, those are always really cool stories. My dad used to tell me uh, when he would go. So I grew up in South Chicago, and my
okay.
dad grew up in the same town that Michael Jackson is from.
Oh wow,
And he used to tell me stories about how he would see the Jackson family, as they were called back in the day, performing at the county fair. And he would tell me all these stories. And I'm like, the way you casually just tell these stories is so odd to me that you're
yeah,
talking about like one of the biggest pop stars to ever grace the
for
planet.
real.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
but no, so that's really cool. And have you had a chance to check out like the DFW scene? Like, do you interact with the scene much there, or
Yeah, so actually, I got invited to like a songwriting deal. That was
Mhm.
in the stockyards.
Is that with Dave
See,
Tribble?
no, gosh, dang, I feel bad. I can't remember the name, but
Yeah.
they said like, "Hey, we got your songs. We want to invite you to be part of this songwriting championship deal."
Oh,
It
okay.
was a really cool thing they had there in the stockyards. Um, Played the armadillo in the stockyards. It was
Hmm.
really cool. And but yeah, like pretty much, I just didn't want to hang out here,
Yeah.
and going back to the rodeo thing. So I played in Abilene, which is like, I mean, maybe 3.5 hours away.
Yeah.
I go take a break, and this guy's like, Cory, where are you from? I said, Sanger, and he's all, I said, north of Denton. You drove all the way here? I said,
Yeah.
yeah. So I used to rodeo. Like, you drive 7, 8, 9 hours to get bucked off, and not win anything. So
For a hot dog and a
to make,
handshake,
for
you know?
real, to make this drive is nothing. So I have no problem if I think the crowd is going to be good or it's a cool place to be and it treats you right.
Hmm. Yeah.
You can make the money. I'll drive. I like to what I say. I got the rambling fever. Like my
Right.
dad drove truck, and we grew up kind of in the back of the semi. So I love seeing what's over the hill. I love going and exploring. I love driving.
Oh,
And you
yeah.
never know who you're going to meet. You know what I mean?
Right. 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 It drives my dad nuts that I drive as much as I do. Like, I'll drive from here in Waco all the way up to Chicago, like for family events and whatnot. He's like, "You're only going to be here for 2 days. You spent more time on the road." And I was like, "So,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like, I don't care." Like, The thing about me driving is, yeah, I'm here for 2 days, but if I decide, hey, I want to stay here for another 6 days because I can, guess what? I got a
Oh
car.
yeah,
I don't got to worry about nothing. So,
you can stop where you want, listen to what you want. You don't have somebody kicking the back of your seat the whole time. Like
right?
I got to go out to Vegas last year for the National Finals Rodeo and
Mm-hmm.
play, be on a couple podcasts and
Mm-hmm.
played on the Ranch 95.9.
Yeah.
And so like that was really cool. But that's my first time flying with a guitar, so I was like stressing out the whole time. And they were really cool about it. Like made my own little spot in the overhead bin. Like they were
Yeah.
super cool. But so that's the first time I've ever been to Vegas and had like itinerary, places
Yeah.
I had to be at certain times. And it was nice. I didn't really get to party or anything too hard, but to be able to go do your deal, do work,
Mm-hmm.
wake up feeling good, get a cup of coffee, get on a 4 a.m. flight to come back
Right.
home. It was nice, but man, I was ready to get back. It was a long few days for sure.
Right. 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 I think I got to try and get there this year because a friend of mine asked me if I was going last year, but they had reached out like 2 weeks before the not for before it happened. I was
Yeah,
like, even if I wanted to go, like even if I could go, I couldn't make it happen because there's no way that, you know, 2 weeks, I got to call my job and say, hey, I'm going to be gone for a week. I'm going to be in Vegas. That's not going to go over very well on 2 weeks'
right,
notice,
right.
you know?
And it'd be cool with your podcast deal. You find a casino out there. So like this guy has podcasts and he's set up at the Westgate
Mm-hmm.
and a podcast called Musical Miles. And so they let him use like the little room, like the little
Mm-hmm.
bar that's inside the casino. So like there's so many opportunities and there's
Yeah.
always like now that I'm in the music part of it, it's so funny because when you're into rodeo, you want to make the NFR because that means you're in the top 15 in the world.
Yeah.
But as a musician, if that's your kind of crowd, that's the place you want to be to
Right.
mingle with people and play music. So now that I'm playing guitar and you're out there and you see other people with guitars and stuff trying
Mm-hmm.
to get on a talk show or a podcast or anything like
Yeah.
that, like there's a lot of musicians out there, and it
Right.
was cool to be in that aspect of it
Yeah.
this year too. It was really awesome
Nice. I'm definitely gonna have to try and make that work this year because
for
we
sure.
do have a like a live aspect to our we have a like a live version of our podcast where
Okay.
we kind of treat it like a writer's round or a like a musician showcase. And we do basically it's like this, but five musicians and they play four songs, and then in between each songs we kind of like talk about it or like whatever's on our minds about it, and it's a really cool vibe. We've done a few of them. We keep getting invited back down to Bastrop to do them, which
Okay.
is
Okay.
which is cool. Like Bastrop's not that
Yeah.
far, so
Yeah.
i'd i'd
Nice.
rather I'd rather make that drive to Bastrop than have to go out to like Nashville or something.
Yeah. Heck yeah. And you
So
said you're in Waco. Like
yep.
when we first moved here, I'd get a couple gigs passing through there, and I'm like, man, why does my fiance want to go so bad to this one?
Oh yeah.
Well, she had looked it up on the map and seen we were going through Waco. She wanted to stop at the
The
um,
silos.
silos and the
Yeah.
macaroni and cheese
Yeah.
place that's there in the
Yeah.
the Union
Yeah.
Hall or whatever. So it's
Oh,
been cool.
I thought you were calling Magnolia the macaroni and cheese place,
Oh
but
no.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I see them on TikTok all the time. So
And it's so worth it. If you get a chance to go, you got to go check it
yeah,
out.
I don't go to Union Hall that often, but that's just because it's downtown, and the only time that I want to go downtown is not when Union Hall is open. So,
Right.
but
Yeah. I
it is what it is.
I got to kind of do some stuff with Taylor Sheridan for 1923,
Mm-hmm.
and so I end up meeting a guy while we're filming that is from Waco,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, "Man, my apartment literally is like right around the corner from the Union Hall. Like next time you guys are passing through, like let me know. So it's
Mm-hmm.
cool, like to get to know people from different areas and everything, especially from Waco. Like it's so cool, like the Texas
Mm-hmm.
Rangers Museum and
Yep.
everything. I really want to go to the check the Dr. Pepper Museum out next time though.
Actually, you want to hear a really good story find a local and ask them about Dublin Dr. Pepper.
Okay.
That's a whole thing. And if you're heading west out of Waco, you'll most likely go through Dublin anyways. Um, and there's a whole thing about Dublin Dr. Pepper, which is technically where Dr. Pepper really got its start.
All right.
And but they had a different recipe, and that for the longest time when Dr. Pepper moved to Waco, Dublin Dr. Pepper was still kind of its own thing until the actual Dr. Pepper got big enough. They're like gave him like I don't want to say it was like a cease and desist or a cease and desist, but basically what happened was like, hey, you got to stop using that recipe or stop calling it Dublin Dr. Pepper, you know. So
Oh wow. Okay.
it's a
Nice.
whole thing. So
I'm gonna look into that because I seen some places in the stockyards that people are like freaking out over the Dr. Pepper.
mhm.
I'm like, is there